Chris, woo! What is our third main topic today?
Thank you for that Ric Flair.
Yeah.
What is it, Chris?
We're talking Moonfall, y'all. Casey Houseman writes in, "Hello, John and crew. You all just had the chance to see the most anticipated movie of the year, Moonfall. I was wondering what you all thought of the movie, even though it was probably a 10 out of 10 with the future 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So what are everybody's thoughts on the movie, especially Ray and Rob? P.S. Did the movie make you more excited for Moon Knight?"
So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, yesterday, a bunch of us, all four of us, we went to go have dinner. By the way, had a fantastic dinner. Went to Yard House there in Burbank. I hadn't been to that restaurant in a bit. And we pre-gamed at Yard House and then made the walk over to the theater.
The long walk.
The long walk to go see Moonfall. And I knew when we walked into the theater and it was 3/4 empty, 30 seconds before the movie was supposed to start, I knew. That's like, what did we say before the show? Man, is this Moonfall? Or is this Spider-Man No One Home? We walked in there and not a lot of people, they say, all right. Let's sit down. Let's get our seats. Let's watch this thing. Listen, when you're going into a movie called Moonfall, you don't have a lot of expectations. I am not expecting Shakespeare, even though Roland did do a Shakespeare film.
Which is pretty good.
Which is actually pretty good. I like his Anonymous. But I was not expecting Shakespeare. I just want to go in some big boggled destruction, calamity, whatever, and some unlikely heroes coming through to save the day. That's all I'm really looking for. I don't need a lot. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't go in with the same expectation levels that Rob and Ray did. I think it's not possible to go in with higher expectation levels than Rob and Ray did. This movie is awful. It was so bad. I mean, there's a point in the film where Halle Berry is talking to her boss. This is where I really knew. This is where I knew. And the boss is like, he's the head of Nassau. He's like, don't forget you work for me. And Halle Berry is, I work for the American people. And I'm like, oh boy.
The noise that came out of you was so great.
Yeah, because I'm sitting right beside Chris, and I'm like squirming. I'm squirming and I'm going, oh. It's like I almost had gastrointestinal pain. I'm like, oh. And look, all I want is some great destruction. I feel, what year did Day After Tomorrow come, or the what was it called? Is it Day After Tomorrow?
The Day After Tomorrow, yeah.
What year did that come out?
Like 2007 or 8?
Okay. The visual effects in that movie were better.
Yeah.
Like there were the scenes where you get your classic, the ones you're going for, those Roland Emmerich scenes of citywide destruction happening, right?
Oh, the water in New York.
I'm watching it, and first of all, the cars, like for those of you who don't work in visual effects, texture. I mean, you know what texture means, right? It's the difference between just seeing black versus, you can see the ribbing, you can see there's texture. I'm looking at the cars in the street as the water's rushing through. It's like, nobody textured those. You see the buildings, it's like, it looks like somebody sent up, you know what it looked like sometimes? Those old Japanese Godzilla movies, where they just built some structures and the guy in a rubber suit crashed through it. That's what it kind of felt like sometimes. Now, the suit of the alien black blob that we see in the trailers, that looked pretty good. The visual effects on that, I felt like they spent all their money on that, so the destruction wasn't even good or fun. It made no sense. They kept cutting away to characters who were like, I don't give a crap about these characters. Why are we spending time on these characters? We got one set of characters trying to save the human race, and the other group of characters trying to get some firefighters' oxygen tanks. And I'm like, why are we spending time here? And why is Michael Pena being wasted in this movie?
Yeah.
And then you get into the third act. Again, I'm not asking for Shakespeare. But then they bring in a plot device in the third act that I'm just like, okay, I'm just so mentally checked out of this movie now. I'm just so checked out. I was going in just for some dumb fun, and it couldn't even deliver that. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to go in and see Moonfall. You were very excited for it. And I don't think you disliked it as much as me. What were your thoughts of it overall?
First of all, I got to preface this by saying I'm a Roland Emmerich fan. You know, Moon 44, the first feature I saw of his, Stargate that he did with Dean Devlin and Independence Day with Dean Devlin. I loved all three of those movies, to be honest. I did not like Godzilla. And I think Roland Emmerich, especially these giant disaster films, you have a lot of cast and you keep intercutting, you tell these different stories. There's a formula to them. And there is good Roland Emmerich. And I would say that Stargate and Independence Day and even Day After Tomorrow.
I like Day After Tomorrow.
I recently rewatched Day After Tomorrow. It's pretty good. The only thing about it I don't quite buy is how quickly the world starts to collapse in terms of its climate and all that. But it's really good. It's beautifully made.
Yep.
Then there's other movies like 2012, or White House Down, which should have been much better than it is. This movie, Moonfall, has a pretty compelling central big science fiction idea.
Yes.
That they do nothing with. And I was incredibly, I think, look, I am there for all of his disaster movie histrionics and all that. But this film had what could have been, and I'm not saying it was ever going to be 2001, but it has a really central, compelling idea that they breeze over. And all of the real, when you're making a science fiction film like this, you've got to give us enough science fiction that it's worth our while. Everything about this movie, I didn't believe. I like the opening. I thought the opening in Orbit, you can watch
cool
the first
opening,
fight.
yeah.
Really cool opening, really intriguing. Really liked it. Patrick Wilson, that guy's MVP of this film. He tried to sell every line, even though they were not. Can
I ask something? Is it just me? Ray and I were talking about this in the car a little bit last night. Is it just me? And I'm not joking around here. Patrick Wilson is getting more and more attractive. Like I remember Patrick Wilson was always a great performer, but there's always a little bit of awkwardness to him, whatever. I'm looking at Patrick Wilson in this as like, first of all, the dude is freaking Hugh Jackman jacked.
Yep. Aquaman 2, probably.
Like even where he's wearing the long sleeve shirts, the dude is, you're right, he's training for Aquaman 2, but the dude is completely jacked. But I mean, he's just standing there. It's like his face is more chiseled. Like everything about it's like, he actually looks like a legit leading A-list Hollywood sex symbol
He
leading
looks
man.
like what you think an astronaut is too, when you're just like, what would an astronaut look like in a movie? Patrick Wilson.
What would an astronaut firefighter look like?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, and I've never thought of that. I'm just looking. I'm just like,
very
dude, I'm
handsome
kind of
man.
envious. That dude is looking really good the older he gets. Sorry, Rob. I had to throw that
and
in.
you know what? I'll tell you what also kind of disappointed me. Like there's some really interesting Chinese science fiction. The Three-Body trilogy that's now being adapted by Weiss and Benioff for TV. The same author wrote the book, The Wandering Earth, that the film was based on. When I went and saw The Wandering Earth, the Chinese film, that was a huge, big box office, I had such high hopes for it, but it was like this movie. It was all over the place. And the fantasy elements and all this, the unreality of it all. Like, as a matter of fact, this would make a great double feature with The Wandering Earth. That when you're watching this, I enjoyed watching this movie, even though it was complete gobbledygook. But it was at the end of it, I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have. Like, for as silly as this was, it didn't embrace the silliness.
Yeah.
And and I just didn't understand why, like John, that you were pointing out, they were doing these weird choices, and I thought they should have embraced the crazy high high concept sci-fi concepts that they were dealing with. That's what I thought could be really cool, and it just kind of got breezed over. And I never knew, and I'm just going to say this, you'll figure it out if you see the movie, I didn't know there were condos on Ringworld.
I mean,
And by the way, we have two Ringworlds in the same week. We have a Ringworld in Book of Boba Fett and a Ringworld in Moonfall.
by the way, I will say this too. It's almost like they should have chosen a path and stuck to it. If you want to make a big, just kind of dumb, fun thing, the moon is fallen, what are we going to do? And you just want to go all in on that, do it. If you want to do a high concept sci-fi idea, do it. But what it was 90% dumb, and then try to say, gotcha, with some big high concept sci-fi thing at the end, which did not fit in with the movie.
Especially the way they did it. It was done so
Yeah.
quickly. It's like, I wish that they had take the same concept, and I wish Christopher Nolan had made this movie.
A Christopher Nolan Moonfall? Like, just give this concept to Christopher Nolan? I mean, and I'm like you. I like Roland Emmerich. There's
do
a
too.
number of his films I really
I'll go
enjoy.
see everything he makes.
So no disrespect, but yeah, you put this concept of a movie in Christopher Nolan's hands, that could have been something special.
Because it was kind of
Oh, well. Anyway, We want to take a minute and thank the sponsors of this video, Liquid IV. Now listen, just one stick of Liquid IV added to 16 ounces of water will hydrate you faster and more efficiently than just water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course vitamin C with 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. And what makes Liquid IV so effective is the science of cellular transport technology, or CTT. You see, it's designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into your bloodstream faster and more efficiently. It tastes great, and it's a great thing to take when you feel run down, you need your daily hydration boost, or even a little bit of hangover recovery. You know, Ann and I get up pretty early in the morning to go to the gym because we can't go to the gym at any other time during the day. And for the last couple of weeks, I have been drinking 1 full glass of water with Liquid IV, and all I can tell you is you can feel the difference during the workout. So go and grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use the promo code CAMPEA, that's CAMPEA, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today when you go to liquidiv.com, and remember, use the promo code at checkout, CAMPEA. I mean, I think, look, I have my opinions on this movie. Rob has his, and we're going to hear from Chris and hers in a second, but let's be honest here. Everybody who's here is here for one opinion. They're all here to hear what Ray Ora has to say about this. Ray, the day came. You got to go see Moonfall. What did you think?
First off, shout out to Tyler. I was talking to him outside of the theater. The night before, he actually screened a 2-hour and 40-minute cut of this movie and came back and watched the
2-hour and 10 one.
Yeah. So, to everybody who ended up liking it, no disrespect to anyone who worked on this, no disrespect, but Moonfall to me was like a spoonful of shit.
Just a spoonful.
Like, okay, like I bought into the Moonfall thing. Just do the moon falling. You don't need a story with me. You don't need anything. Just make it that the moon happens to go out of orbit, right? Start with that. Don't even give me a reason why. Then for an hour, pure destruction of landmarks we haven't seen done yet. Maybe start with like maybe the thing going out of orbit makes all the slot machines in Vegas all hit jackpot, right? All hit the jackpot.
Science!
All hit the jackpot.
Where's Neil deGrasse?
But no one's paying attention because they look outside the window and the stratosphere just falls on Caesar's Palace. You go back and then there's the sports booking area. You pan into the NASCAR race that's happening. Cars are flying off the course. Just complete destruction. All of this, right? And then
Ray's given like the pitch meeting.
And then
this
all of
like
a sudden,
the pitch meeting.
You know, it should just be the main character should have just been the moon. That's it. The moon hates us right now. Nothing could stop it. No survivors except the people who have the doomsday basements. They come crawling out at the end and look, and they see the moon just half landed on Earth, and then that's it. Everyone's dead.
That's
Perfect
like
movie.
that sounds like a Planet of the Apes kind of ending instead of the Statue of
Something
Liberty.
like that.
Can I tell you something too? I'm gonna tell you guys something.
It's no melancholia.
When Ray's super excited for a movie, he doesn't want to watch a lot of the trailers, right? I think there's a lot of movie fans like that. They're super excited for a movie, they avoid a lot of trailers, right? So Ray and I are in the car last night, driving out to Burbank to go meet you guys, and Ray's like, "Oh, okay, I'll watch the final trailer. I'll watch the final." So he's in the seat beside me. I can hear him watching the trailer in the phone. It's like, wait, there's aliens in this?
And
We don't need aliens.
That broke my heart. I said, this shit is not going to be about the ape. Oh, I just thought it was like, you know, okay, here's a thing. We don't need like these big natural disaster movies every year. The reason why I like them is because one big one comes out every few years, right? And the reason why I like it that way is because in that time we could see how much our special effects have advanced. And like, you know, that's what I get from it. Like, oh, it's going to look more real now, this and that. But it looked like in some parts that they went back to like the Godzilla miniature building days.
Yeah.
And would set it on fire. And I was like, this is not what I wanted. You don't even have to win me with the story. Cause like, you know, I go to the mall just to get hot dog on a stick. So I love corn dogs. I love corn dogs. I love corn, right? You don't need a good story with me when it comes to natural disaster movies. So let's get the special effects down right, okay. You know? And this one didn't do it. This movie would have been a 7 out of 10 if the special effects were good. But they weren't, and that's what I was there for. Rob heard me, John heard me.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the whole film, I was laughing. But I was laughing because it was so painful that I couldn't do anything but laugh at everything it showed me. I don't know. I don't want to, rain on anyone's parade. I think you should still go see it and make your own opinion. But for me, it wasn't what I expected. I look for every little thing in a movie to make it good. I couldn't find it.
Listen, and we should say, you just raised a good point. Not everybody who came out of that theater last night hated it.
No.
Like I mentioned this in our quick out of theater review. We ran into our friend, Chris Gore. You guys might remember from the G4 Day. He's been on my show and stuff like that. He's in my documentary. We ran into Chris and he was like, he grabbed me. He was like, so what did you think? I'm like, oh man, that was terrible. He goes, oh no, I had fun. So like Chris had fun with it. I think there were a couple other people.
He was laughing with me, but I think he was laughing for the right reason.
He was probably laughing for the right reason.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, just because we didn't like it, but I mean, there were other people who did. So like, if you're excited about it, you may like it. I'm glad Ray brought that up. Chris, you and I didn't get to sit beside Rob and Ray.
Chuckle McGee over here.
Yeah, so we didn't get to sit beside them, which would have been great. We had to sit a little bit further up, but you had a chance to see Moonfall. What did you think?
I've never seen somebody get up and out of a movie so quickly, John. You were just like, all right, we're out. I mean,
no time to wait.
In our house, right, we kind of equate bad movies to Tombstone Pizza. It's still a pizza, Is it the best pizza? No, but you still got to eat pizza. And that's kind of what Moonfall is. But, kind of echoing what you guys have said, it just wasn't weird enough for me. I wanted it to be weirder and wilder if it was going to go that route. I wanted iron skies. I wanted Nazis on the moon or something, I wanted really ridiculous asylum films, B-roll kind of stuff.
Right.
And if you are going to go to that scientific route, because we're talking about really cool high-end concepts too in this film, and when I say talk about, I mean mention them and then never discuss them in depth. That just irked me so much. Fun fact, I worked at NASA Space Center Houston, where I got to teach little kids about physics and stuff, and we would do theoretical time travel and all of these things and Dyson spheres. And so I got so excited that we would maybe talk about this, and then
Can we back up for a second? Did you just say you worked for NASA?
Not NASA. I worked for basically the theme park equivalent of NASA.
Still, you worked for NASA.
Yeah,
I had an acting manager at one point who was like, we never correct Chris Carr. We never correct. We let them think you worked in mission control. I'm like, they're going to find out real quick. They're going to be like, this girl didn't work there. But I think you guys are right. It was a tale of two different films, one being just kind of shoehorned in there. I just wanted it to be weirder and wackier and embrace the ridiculousness of this, because I love a disaster porn. I think it's so fun. Just go for it.
Also, to me, it's everything. Tone is everything. And like The Day After Tomorrow kept a very consistent, very apocalyptic tone where you believe the characters, you like the characters, and what was happening was truly scary. And it was truly like, it got under your skin. At least it did for me. I'm like, this is, but then you go to 2012 or Independence Day Resurgence, where the tone is completely out. Like this John Cusack driving a limo through Santa Monica as it's being, the roads are like rippling around. You can't buy into that.
I did.
And Independence Day Resurgence.
I did.
So I like 2012, but by the time you get to Resurgence, the destruction only works if it has a semblance of reality to it.
Right.
Because then otherwise it's just silly.
Yeah.
But you watch, like, when New York is being flooded in Day After Tomorrow, it's terrifying. And in this...
And then the wolves, too. That came out of nowhere.
Oh,
The wolves, that was great, because I didn't expect that. I thought it was just they had to worry about that stuff. That was a good part to me.
I'm so glad you guys brought up the kind of B plots, too, because I could not give two shits about his son. I did not care about him at all.
Both sons.
Both sons. It's like, why do we care about the moody teenager?
Just
like, why?
Thanks for getting
I
thanks for getting me out of prison, Dad. Made me laugh so hard.
I mentioned this. There was one little thing that I got out of this movie, and you could just get it from the trailer. That one shot of the moon on the horizon behind the mountain.
Oh, that will forever be your shot.
That will forever be my wallpaper. and I don't even like the
That was
movie.
great.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah,
shot was what I thought it would be about.
But let me throw this in there too. We're mentioning Patrick. Halle Berry is 55 years old. That's
Incredible.
there's some illegal experimentation against the laws of nature going on with her because she looks
She's stunning.
amazing. She looks so good. Anyway, guys, that's our thought on Moonfall. Have you guys? I mean, there were some public early screenings across the country last night. Did you guys have a chance to see it? Or have you been excited for it? If you did, what did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Rate the film for us, 1 to 5 hot dogs on a stick, and let us know what you thought about this movie. All right, guys.